An important part of efficiently managing your dispatch is the ability to adapt to changing circumstances, whether it's a driver's equipment going down, or a customer calling in and canceling or changing details on one of your pickup or drop-off locations. LoadCall makes it fairly easy to go in and reroute, reorder, or cancel loads as needed. So we're going to go over that in this video. In order to unassign a load, you can go ahead and click on this red Unassign Jobs button up at the top. And what this will do is change the dispatch board to kind of be red here, and then change all of the info icons to be a little unassigned job, like user with an X next to it. So if I want to unassign a load, I can just click on that, and I will have to confirm that I want to unassign it. And then it'll come back over here onto this region over here. What I can also do when I have this red view up is unassign and directly assign to another driver. So if I want to take a load and click and drag and put it on a different driver, this allows me to unassign it from one driver and assign it to another without going over to the dispatch boards. So it'll flash really quick as it's unassigned and then reassign immediately after that. So that is another way to go ahead and do unassignment. A third way is if you go into the individual driver window and come into here, there is an unassigned icon at the top right of the jobs on the job order page. So if I go ahead and click unassign, I can unassign from here. And finally, if I wanted to unassign a load, if I come into the info icon up at the top here and come into the job page, if it's an assigned out load, there is also an unassign from driver option up here where I can go ahead and click on it, click on assign, and remove the job from that driver. Additionally, you'll notice in here, if it's an unassigned load, instead of having the unassign option, you'll have the option to assign it to a driver. So you can do this without clicking and dragging if you are on a phone or something like that. And those are the main ways to go about unassigning a load from a driver in LoadCall. Another important part of managing a dispatch board is the ability to rearrange work so that it's done in a specific order. In order to do so, you go into the driver window by clicking on the driver icon. And on this order page, you can go ahead and click and drag these loads to reorder them. So if I grab a job and reorder it, you'll see the green highlight of when I'm hovering over a valid location. So I'm going to put load 8 after 7, and I'm going to put load 9 after load 11 here. So you can go ahead and do that. You can click and drag them to the bottom and assign them in the order that a driver needs to complete them. Now, in some cases, depending on your settings, a driver can do this themselves if you're allowing the ability to do self-dispatch ordering for drivers so they can kind of optimize their own route the way that they see fit. In other cases, this isn't permitted. It depends on the settings you set up in your organization. And one other thing to note is that the job at the top here, if it's green, that means the driver is actively working on it. So even if I drag a load and put it above this load, they're going to be working and finishing out this load before this load shows up, unless I go ahead and use the set as active job. But you probably won't want to do this. In a lot of organizations, this is disabled depending on the settings, so that you're not interfering with a driver who may be in the middle of putting a few measurements in and may not have service or other issues that may make it so that this is a kind of dangerous thing to do in terms of throwing your driver out of the loop. So usually you don't want to mess with the job that's in the first, that if it's green and being actively worked on, and just want to reorder the other ones. But there is that ability, if needed, to manage that sort of situation. All right, the last thing we're going to cover in this video is the ability to reroute a job. All that a reroute is changing a job's pickup or drop-off location or some other aspect of the job. There are quite a few ways to get to this window, but they all kind of look the same after you get there, so we'll kind of cover that quick. So in order to get to a reroute, one of the easiest ways is to click on the Reroute Jobs, kind of like the Unassign Jobs button, and it's going to change the background to be yellow to match the button, and then the icon changes from an info icon into one of these path route buttons. So if I click on that, it'll pull up this window where we have the ability to see the original values when the load was put in and go ahead and change it. So the changes in here could be as simple as changing the tank that they're supposed to pick up from, or a distance or a mileage, all the way to changing a purchaser or a pickup location. So some of the other ways that you can access this, if I go back to a normal view, if I click on a driver, you'll notice that there's a reroute icon at the top right here. If I click on the info window and go into a normal job window, there's the reroute icon up here as well. So it shows up in a couple of places, but everywhere where you click on it, it's going to pull up the same yellow window. And once in here, I can go ahead and let's say that we're going to change the pickup here to be the Elwood Minerals. And I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And then I need to click on the update right here. Once I click on update, it's going to check the system and let you select the tank you want to run with. So I'm going to choose tank 2 and I'm going to click update and it's going to go ahead and reroute the job. So now this job has a new pickup location, but the same drop-off location and same purchaser, and you can see over here what it used to be. And since it's different than what it currently is, it's going to be highlighted in red. If I want to revert back, I can go ahead and click on this, confirm that I want to revert my load back, and it will go ahead and put it back to the way that it originally was before the reroute. And all of this information is going to be logged in the job log right here, so you can see that there have been quite a few reroutes, mileage is updated, the pickup rerouted, and then consequently the mileage is automatically updated based on this new route. So depending on if your customer has a facility go down or needs the drop-off location changed, then you can go ahead and quickly update these loads in order to make sure that the drivers are picking up and dropping off from the locations that your customers want, even if it changes in the middle of the day after loads have been created.